So we are 9 weeks in to this GLSR Downrange Transport Premier Series. 7 different winners have taken up 7 spots in the playoffs. It's the first season for this go or go home format, which means we have 5 drivers or 5 spots open for pretty much any driver that is racing tonight a chance to jump into the playoffs and upset things. And what track is the best track to do it at in this series specifically? Here at the Michigan Speedway. Of course, virtually on iRacing. It's a track that has seen tons of upsets, not only here in GLSR, but in real life. What will we see on this 2-mile super speedway tonight? Well, we're going to find out here in just a couple minutes. We welcome you, and I am the captain, Chris Scala, and tonight marks another race on the track that has seen the schedule every season since the beginning of GLSR's founder Travis Icavacci and Sam Barnes. Of course, they're from the area, and as we know, every race is different. Every race is not won the same way, but one thing is for certain: 12 drivers will race for a playoff spot coming up here this evening in the GLSR Downrange Transport Premier Series. As we welcome you in tonight, the Prehistoric Forest 200 presented by Union is on in just a couple of minutes. So got a lot of things to talk about here as we get the point standings up here for you as we enter the final round of this regular season. There you see the drivers who are in, the 7 drivers. Lucas Gortman, he will pretty much set himself in at the start of this race. Alex Bryson looking the same. That leaves us with 3 spots. Peyton Johnson, Diego Sainz, Tyler Pluff. They are right there on the bubble. Jason Dalton, Lucas Strayer, Sean Peach, and Josh Gannon outside. However, it takes one winner, and this whole thing gets flipped upside down. So many things that we can see happen here tonight at this 2-mile super speedway. So that is the point standings. We'll try to keep up with it as much as we can here this evening. Also on the line, of course, as we keep going, is the battle for the PRG Rookie of the Year standings. Lucas Gortman kind of pulling away. He's got a 57-point lead over Tyler Pluff. Brandon Maciejewski is a little behind. Shane Matthews and Jacob Thornton is your top 5 in that battle as we get closer to the season. The end of the season, we'll crown that champion as we go. I have no clue as Mr. Gagnon has done something with $2. I don't know what that is about. But one thing's for certain. A lot of things have happened here in the last week. Of course, since last Wednesday, we've been trying to work on starting 2024 and getting ready to... Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Gagnon, as he's telling me apparently he's tipping me or donating to me. But anyways, a lot of things going on. And one thing I did do, of course, last week is I put out a survey, and I just want to give a shout out to everybody who has responded to it. There are a lot of great things that people have mentioned in that survey. I will not bring it out on public because that's stuff that's between me and the people that have answered. Obviously, I don't know who said what, but there are a lot of great things said, and come 2024, we look to improve the racing here on the Captain Esports Network and make this the best stream to watch on iRacing, even hosted by just one guy, which will be interesting enough. All right, qualifying going on right now. Jason Dalton on the pole. Right now, though, I want to focus on some of the drivers that are down there at the bubble spot. And, of course, I bring back up the points. And you see Tyler Pluff. He is the bubble driver right now. So let's get Tyler up here to join us in the booth as qualifying goes on. Of course, Tyler wrapping up his qualifying run. So, Tyler, obviously, being the bubble guy, any pressure tonight? Or is this one of those, just go do the best you can?
I really got nothing to lose. This year didn't start off great, but coming back, last 6-7 races have been really solid. So it's home track, got to put up a great showing. So no pressure, but definitely we're putting on a good show.
Looks like right now qualified in the 7th position. Is that expectations about where you want it to be, or what? What are we looking for out of that body armor Ford?
Body armor Ford finally qualified well. I've been a hard charger past few races, whether it be not qualifying or qualifying poorly. So definitely put in a more concerted effort to qualify well, and hopefully we can make up still a few spots to get to the front.
As the cars go to grid here, appreciate Tyler for joining us this evening. Tyler, best of luck here, and we will potentially see you later on.
Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Tyler Pluft, one of the Brewer drivers, I believe. He's down there in the Brewer Motorsports chat. As qualifying is wrapped up, Jason Dalton going to win the pole here tonight for the race. And apparently I'm being told by Gagnon that Maciejewski has missed 3 races, so Tyler is off the bubble. So apparently he's in the playoffs, as I've learned here just a few minutes ago. So, of course, there's little things in the rules and stuff. I know most of the rules of the league, but when it comes to the playoff rules, a couple things I'm still trying to learn about. But is what it is. So I guess congratulations to Tyler. He's out, and I guess that would put somebody else on the bubble when it's all over with. But we'll get into that as we go here throughout the night. Let's take a look at the starting lineup here for the Prehistoric Forest 200 here from Michigan. Dalton on the pole alongside Sam Fontaine, Stephen Miles, Alex Bryson, a couple laser guys there in row number 2. Row 3, Peyton Johnson and Lucas Gortman. Row 4 is where you'll see Tyler Pluff and Sean Peach and the boss man there. Diego Sainz and Lucas Strayer in row 5. Row 6, Jacob Thornton and Cameron Ingram. Row 7, the Dean Machine, Joey Ladesseur, Dalton Carter, Lucas Simonson, Richard Midkiff, Devin Ramsey, Tyler Brewer, Ethan Gregory, Jason Stewart, Shane Matthews. Those 22 cars here tonight going to go racing for 200 miles and 100 laps. So let's pull back up the point standings, because this actually kind of plays a crucial role, because Tyler Pluff's off the bubble, so now Jason Dalton becomes the bubble guy, and he's the pole sitter tonight. Lucas Strayer slides up. So Alex Bryson, Lucas Gortman are all in the playoffs now, officially. So basically it's a 5-point deficit now. Or a 5-point advantage for Pluff over Dalton. Dalton now 6 points ahead of Lucas Strayer as we go here. So obviously some moving going on with the different rules and stuff going into the race here this evening. Let's take a look at the race information for the Prehistoric Forest 200, 100 laps, 200 miles. 79 degrees, 68% humidity. Track temps rated about 100. Of course, this race presented by Union, a clothing wear. Of course, Alan, who runs the company there and stuff, appreciate him. He's always been a part of the league, no matter what, racing or sponsoring for all of the seasons. Teammates from KJD2 going to lead them to the green here at Michigan as we crown 12 drivers that will make the playoffs in 100 laps as the regular season finale's green. Our cameras tonight, presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. Dalton shooting out to a pretty good sized lead. Miles right there in that Ric Flair drip. One of 2 winners that have been to victory lane multiple times this season. Of course, the other one is right there in front of him, Sam Fontaine. As Dalton leads lap 1. See the field spreading out, of course, the new dynamic track that was released last week in the build. So you're going to see these cars really moving around to the bottom, to the top. Not sure how this car is driving, really. Didn't get to run many laps. So you see Lucas Strayer back here, Joey Ladesseur. There's Dean. Again, a lot of these drivers got to be very careful at a track that is very notorious for fuel mileage races. And of course, tonight is 40 to 45 laps. about on fuel. Looks like Shane Matthews did not take the green flag in the end. So 21 cars now officially taking the green flag. A lot of Sewer back here battling for the 13th position with Thornton. We watch Gortman back there with Sean Peachin, the 39 at Pluff. Obviously, a lot of practice taking place throughout the week. A lot of people getting used to the way this car drives now with those. Somebody back there, a lot of Sewer look like getting the outside wall. Meanwhile, Dalton's already pulled away to about a second right now over this battle here for the second position. You see everybody kind of spreading out a little bit. The draft's going to play a major role in this race when it's over with. See back there, 2-3 wide. Towards the back of the field there. As we're already 5 laps in. Appreciate the viewers watching here tonight. A reminder, you can also check us out over on the Facebook page as we're live there. Follow us on Twitter. Just look up Captain iRacing TV, and you'll find the Facebook and Twitter page there. Give us a follow. Track built back in the 1960s. Roger Penske, of course, owned this track back when it was first built. Has hosted everything from NASCAR to IndyCar. The old Michigan 500, and of course one of the notorious races in this track's history, the old US 500. Of course, when IRL and IndyCar split, IRL had the Indy 500, so IndyCar decided, hey, let's go run a 500-miler at... Oh, one car into the wall back there. And that is Dalton Carter. Tillamook number 3 car get pushed up in the outside wall. Not seeing much damage. Car stays straight. So we stay green. I see actually, yeah, I see a pretty good pancake there on the right side. But going back to that story real quickly, that US 500 was marred by a issue at the start of the race. They didn't even get the green flag, and there was a pileup in turn 4. So the way they wanted to start that race, of course, we all know that the rest of that's history, and here we are now as battle for the 5th position here. Bryson under attack from Diego Sainz. There's Peachin. Dives it in there late, 3 wide. And it almost caused contact between Bryson and Sainz, as that's a very tricky corner with the way you enter. You can easily see some contact between the 2 cars towards the top side there, but thankfully everybody worked their way out. Everybody pretty much in a pack here. From Johnson back to Miles, Sainz, Bryson, Peachin, Gortman, Strayer. So right now, Dalton leading this race in the perfect spot he needs to be in. But look who is second. Peyton Johnson, as he goes to the inside here of Fontaine. Not able to make the pass. Johnson having one of his better seasons. Of course, he didn't race season 1 last a couple months ago, I should say. I want to say last year because I'm so used to years, not seasons. But Johnson has come back. He's had a couple of top 3 runs, come close to winning that New Hampshire race, one that he probably wishes he could have back. You're welcome, Brandon, as he likes to say. But looking to get this one here tonight in Michigan. The one thing I will say is that this pack is starting to reel back in Jason Dalton. So you wonder if Dalton has kind of driven the tires off that 2 car a little bit. And now the fishing pole is out and they're reeling it back in. Yeah, I'm sorry to see that, Brandon. Of course, Maciejewski watching in chat tonight. Says on the YouTube chat, all for nothing. Which, of course, winning that race at New Hampshire. Brandon, a pretty good driver, and understand his disappointment. Of course, when you get those iRacing updates, they've bitten me before. I'm pretty sure if you're a driver in iRacing, it has bitten you at one point or another. Ooh, Johnson almost squeezing Miles into the wall there. Great job on both sides. Now, one of the things I will mention out loud that was brought up to me in the survey that I did is reading the messages out in chat. So I appreciate whoever did that. That was a great piece of feedback. And that's one thing I am going to work on doing because, of course, the one thing I use is a third-party app called Restream. And when I do this, the only person that can see both the Facebook and YouTube chats that I'm broadcasting on are me. So if you're watching on the Facebook page right now, on the Captain Esports Network Facebook page, you cannot see the YouTube chat. If you're watching on YouTube, you can't see the Facebook chat. So basically, it's good feedback for me to be better at saying that Josh Gagnon is saying you will be good, or he'll be back next week. So to Brandon as they chatted out. Battle for second continuing on. Johnson trying to get help from Miles, but Fontaine tougher to pass at a kidney stone. Of course, Diego Sainz back there behind him. We ride with Peyton, their third position. Fuel mileage here about 40 to 45 laps. I'm thinking more the 40 side of things. With the draft, though, it could change. But needless to say, it is going to be a 2-stop race to get to the end of this thing pretty much straight up. Thank you, Luke. Another piece of feedback I did get from a viewer saying that I got to work on the volumes, which Casey Carrington, over in another series, him and I have talked about this. I got to figure out how to work that better. So I do appreciate everybody's help on that. Stephen Miles topside there, the Ric Flair drip. All about helping Peyton tonight, apparently. He went to the top side, and now they've gone by Fontaine that way, but Fontaine continues to fight. Dalton up there in the front side. Oh, Fontaine got tight there. That's going to allow Johnson to clear for second. Now here comes Miles for 30, outside train. Of course, we can't help but go back to, got to remember the season here. I want to say season 5. The season where Justin Bonder and Alex Cummings literally tag teamed the field to victory lane in the Truck Series. As they pretty much walked away from the field. It was a big drafting race, and they figured out a way where they could push each other and literally walked away from the field. Johnson going to try to make the move. Here he goes, run to the inside as Dalton has led the first 16 laps. And some contact back here. Dean and Lanasur. Not to cut away from the lead, but everybody okay? Couple of Teammates are getting together, but back to it. That time by Johnson leads. As Jason Stewart, did he have Stewart has crashed? Caution is out. Front straightaway here. Jason Stewart has gone around somebody else involved. I didn't get to see the other car. But lap number 18, that's gonna win me a lot of bets, basically. Some people thought that you would not see a fuel mileage race tonight here at Michigan. And what do you know, with 82 laps to go, the fuel mileage is 40 laps or so. Haha, here comes the fuel mileage race as caution is out for Stewart in the Lucas Oil Chevy out here running all by himself. And I think he hit a banana peel or something. I got nothing. Caution out. You know what that looks like? I could be way off by this, but just being straight honest, it looks like somebody that took his eyes off the monitor to do something, like to grab a drink or to answer somebody's question, maybe in the same room or whatever. And all of a sudden you just forget there's a wall there. All right, here we go. Pit stops. Everybody coming in. Pay attention over to the right side. Something else I've been working on. You will be able to see who wins the race off pit road and who comes out where. Ooh, 2 tires. Peyton Johnson wins the race off pit road. All right, for some reason it... Oh, I know why. Forgive me as I work on the... I'll get that battle box fixed up here. That should have been relatives. There we go. So Peyton Johnson wins the race off pit road. Miles, Dalton, Fontaine, Ramsey, Peachin, and Simonson. Peyton Johnson, 2 tires for the number 15. Interesting strategy here. Let's go talk to... Let me mute the chat in the race so we're talking to each other. Let's grab the KJD2 driver who is now the bubble person. Is he even in here? There he is. As get Dalton up here is Jason, man. 3rd position for you right now. Of course, led the first 16 laps. And with one driver missing a race tonight, apparently now you're the bubble guy. Congratulations on that earning. But what have you been feeling so far in that 2 car tonight?
Just got to do a better job of conserving tires a little bit. Michigan's never been a good track for me in general, so just trying to learn a few things here and get these tires to last a little longer.
So obviously 4 tires for you in this situation. Knowing that the playoffs are right there, you got a couple teammates up there around you. What do you need to do to just get yourself in the right place at the right time later?
I just got to be smart. I'd like to, stay in the top 5, give myself a chance. And like I said, big thing for me is just getting these tires to last where I can still be competitive late in the run.
All right, buddy. Well, best of luck here as you go green.
Thanks, man.
All right, bud. Jason Dalton, KGD2, as you heard him say, they're not the biggest fan of Michigan, which Jason's more of a short tracker slash kind of a worn-out track guy, if you will. Think about some of the tracks he's won at. As we come to the green, lap number 21. Peyton Johnson, not sure if he took tires or not. I'll have to go back and review that stop, but 8-second stop as he leads this race. Miles second, Dalton, Fontaine, and Sean Peachin and Devin Ramsey, your top 6. Ramsey having a good run here so far as he forgets to push the throttle and we go back racing. Getting confirmation from Josh Gagnon that he did not race. Gagnon not racing tonight, so that'll eliminate him from the playoffs. As a 3 wide back there in the back straightaway. As you see, Johnson's already fallen back to the 4th position, so kind of hurting, unfortunately, himself here as he's already fallen back 4 spots. Sean Peachin looking to make it a 5th position. This Prehistoric Forest 200. I've shared the story multiple times. This is the, 8th race that we've done here at Michigan on the Captain Esports Network out of the 10 seasons. And the story, of course, the Prehistoric Forest. You take Highway 12 from the track here, right down the road. There's an old theme park that was built back in the 1940s, I believe it was. I got to go back and look at the story. But, of course, it lasted a couple decades, and then back in the 80s and 90s, well, the Prehistoric Forest became prehistoric. And there's still a dinosaur and the remnants of a waterfall and stuff that still sits there from the theme park. If you travel to a race at Michigan Speedway, you can go by it and check out what is left of it. But it's an old theme park that sits to the east of the Michigan Speedway. As Miles slides up there in front of Fontaine for second. Petchin there in the 69 car, the Peachin Hut car, as I like to call it, in front of Bryson. Diego Sainz back there. So let's note we went green at lap 22. So that is 78 laps. Now, I think that's very doable. So I don't see fuel mileage being a big problem here, but you just never know. As I always have liked to say, you run a all-electric vehicle at a race at Michigan and it turns into a fuel mileage race somehow. Bryson looking underneath Peachin, that's for 5th. As that goes on, Peyton Johnson all the way back to 15th. Might be kicking himself a little bit after that move. His track position is a pretty big deal here. And a race with 20 cars on the track now. Chances are this race could see green flag the rest of the way, and if so, Peyton Johnson might have just hurt himself. One of the tallest men in the Downrange Transport Premier Series, Lucas Strayer running their 7th position for him. Right there behind Diego, who I noticed has some right rear damage there from the 44. Not sure where that took place, but have to look into it.
Do that.
You can see where that right rear just kind of crinkled up a little bit there. Sure, that's not helping the downforce on the car. check on the 8th driver that'll be racing in the playoffs this season, Lucas Gortman, a.k.a. Kermit, battling with Tyler Pluff. See everybody working their way on that bottom lane. That bottom lane actually has a little less banking than the second, third, fourth groove on the track. So you might notice the car kind of flattens out a little bit in that bottom groove. That helps de-wedge the car, believe it or not. Running in the 9th position right now for him, trying to get to victory lane, playoffs or not. He wants to get a win in that column. Don't blame him. So top 9 all right there, top 10 within the draft. You see Cam Ingram there behind Gortman. A little bit of a gap back to Joey Ladouceur. There he is in the 23. Then the Dean Machine there at 48 car in P12. Ethan Gregory, and there's Richard Midkiff, the 29. As these guys in the 13th and 14th positions. Track temp holding steady right there at 98 degrees. Look back here as Miles and Fontaine seem like they've been doing this the whole entire night. Second place battle. Heachin coming up to help Fontaine out. Bryson probably going to go down to his teammate there, Miles, if he can get to him. And once again, you see that high line just kind of takes advantage down the straightaway. Of course, Michigan before the repave. Oh, Miles sliding up into Fontaine. That could have been interesting. Good job by Miles to get out of it. I was just talking about the old Michigan. Of course, you used to be able to run from the bottom all the way to the top of the track. Then they repaved the track in 2011, and safe to say, I never thought you could say something like this, but for Michigan's sake, they paved it too well. And what I mean by that is, well, the track is done it's not wearing too quickly, and you only get about a groove and a half, if not 2 grooves of racing right now after 12 years. But it's slowly getting there. So Dalton out front's led the most laps in this race. Of course, we got 16 laps for the halfway point. Get yourself a bonus point there for the playoffs. Peachin's going to get trained here, unfortunately. Peachin back home from his road trip, so able to race on his normal equipment. So obviously the question that you have to think about here is how much defense is Fontaine working tonight to try to get Dalton into the playoffs? And then the other question is, does Fontaine even know that Dalton is pretty much in right now without a win? Now, that's not going to stop Sam, obviously, but you just never know. Miles back to second. As Gortman inside of Pluff for the 8th position. Kermit settling back in there. As you see, Diego Sainz now working the top side on Bryson. 36 laps complete. Should be able to get to about lap 60, which is going to be the magic number. If you can get to 60, you're pretty much set to go on fuel the rest of the way. So another 23 laps or so. But again, you got the top 10 cars all within 2 seconds of each other. And then there's a gap back to a couple teammates. Peyton Johnson settled back at a 15th position after his fuel-only pit stop. There's Peyton back there. I'm sure he's not too thrilled. Probably threatening a lawsuit or something on his crew chief. So Gagnon asked me who's the first one to pit. Great question. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? I mean, probably going to be the lead car because he's out of the draft. Or out in the air. So I would say Dalton might be your guy. And looks like going to have some short pitting here from Johnson, Ramsey, and Simonson. So looks like teammates maybe here coming into pit. Apparently tire wear not playing a role here. So they're pitting right as the window opens to make this still a 2-stop race. So these 3 guys pitting an extra time. Not sure if I totally agree with that move, but we'll see how that works out. 4 tires and fuel for all these guys. So Miles, Fontaine, all these guys here been trailing Dalton, who's led most of the race here tonight. So this is your train of cars here, and then again 2.7 back to Dean, who's now got Ethan Gregory there in that Toyota at 25 car, who's getting a little loose off 2. Hold on, young man. Might have dropped the hot pocket off 2. Nice catch on his part. I'm just trying to think this through here. 40 laps. These 3 just came to pit road to get tires and fuel. They're still going to have to pit at lap 80 while the rest of these guys are coming at 60. Not to mention they're all separated apart now from each other, so there's no way for them to draft off each other. Something tells me that is not going to work out for them. Up front, Dalton under attack. Yeah, you guys are overthinking it. Anyways. Miles trying to get the lead to the inside. Tight racing. There's Dalton had to get out of it. Here comes Fontaine. And Stephen Miles to the front. As we come up to 7 to go here, and before we get the bonus point here, see the 44 kind of falling back just a little bit here. Again tonight, the end of the playoffs, the regular season of Prehistoric Forest 200 kicks off the playoffs. The next race, 12 drivers racing for the cup to be champion here in GLSR. 7 drivers in on wins, 2 drivers in already on points. That leaves you 3 spots. You can win this race, you get that 9th spot, or 10th spot, I should say, and then you have the 2 others. But to win it, you got to be in it. When it's over with, the Stray and Peachin almost come together. I'm sure there's a little bit of yapping going on in the chat right now, as Peachin falls back to 5th. All right, just checking on the 3 guys who pitted last time. Their laps 39.70, 39.80, 39.76. Leaders all running 40.95s right now, so they are a second quicker. However, as I mentioned, when the tire wear starts to kick in, I think this draft is going to overpower those cars by themselves. Right on board Diego Sainz. Diego's fighting here a little bit. Kind of fighting back to the right a little bit, especially on throttle. Just a little free off. Not bad. Leader's going to come up on Tyler Brewer to put him a lap down. By the way, one of the last broadcasts you're going to see this season of any league racing. As you see Peyton Johnson going by as he comes up here through the field now with the fresher tires. We'll have one other race, and that's only because it was literally added to the schedule today. So we'll have another broadcast Saturday night, believe it or not. We'll talk about that on our social media pages, but we'll come back Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern with a league race for you before signing off for the rest of 2023, basically, from league racing. And trust me when I tell you, 2024 is going to be a big year. The 5 cars off the pace on the back straightaway. Cam Ingram with lots of damage to the front end, no caution. Sounds like Cam saying he got tight off the corner there. As Cam's going to come to pit road, so tough break there for the 5 car. See if I can find us a replay of this. Looks like it's going to happen somewhere right in here. Up right there, yeah. Hate to do the manual rewind, but here we go. Cam goes to pit road, but yeah, you see right there, Cam just kind of looks like gets tight off the corner. Oh, well, it starts down here in the bottom. Car's going to get tight there. Of course, now, yeah, he just loses the back end up into Gortman. So everybody stays straight. And we stay green. Jacob Thornton now on pit road in the 11 cars. We've passed the halfway point. Stephen Miles getting himself a bonus point. So congratulations to him on leading here at halfway. As Lucas Strayer Freebird must be playing in his ears. He tries to take the third position. Strayer trying to break the side draft away from Fontaine. Here's where it gets tricky. There's a bump right there. And then Fontaine, yeah, he could get down there on his door, but you just never know when somebody's going to come up. And all of a sudden they could wreck right there. You do not want that to happen. Strayer getting a little free off the corner. Fontaine got tight. At about 190 mile an hour down into the corner. See, now you see Fontaine kind of pinching him down a little bit. They're giving him some room because, again, you just never know when Strayer's going to come up the track, and of course the way the spotters work. Oh, take it away, young man. Ooh, one car dusting the wall there back there. Look, was that Pigeon maybe? Saw the dust go flying. So now they're handling the tires coming into play here as the field spreads out just a little bit. As I think Sean Peachin dropped his pizza on the back stretch there, had to go get it. I about said Pizzone, which was, by the way, one of the coolest things Pizza Hut's ever had. There's Tyler Plouffe back here, sixth position, make that seventh position, looking pretty solid right now. As he'll likely be one of the wild cards into the playoffs. Diego Sainz running in the eighth position right now, looking pretty good to lock himself in. Dalton running second right now, so he would likely be another driver to get in. Tyler gets to the inside of Peachin for the sixth position. So I think Sean has hurt the tires a little bit there, maybe racing a little too hard up front. Kyler Brewer making pit stops. Just to note, those guys who pitted earlier their lap times are pretty much mirroring now the field. So their tires have fairly evened out. Maybe a tenth or two quicker. Otherwise, it is fairly even now. So what they got is what they got. As Alex Bryson starting to work his way up through the field. Past Fontaine a second ago now inside of Lucas Strayer. One thing about this Laser team, Miles has these guys prepared. Gives them all the feedback and everything they need to be well on a long run. And you see Bryson now up to the third position. And just to show you again here as we bring out the point standings entering tonight. Everybody looking really good right here. Now the one driver you have to worry about is the one that plays the different strategy. Peyton Johnson there in 10th right now is sitting in the 15th position. And you got Jason Dalton running second right now. And you got Lucas Strayer running in the top 5 right now. One thing you never want to do, and I'm guilty of this myself, is outthink yourself, because you could easily put yourself right out of the playoffs when it's all said and done. Lot of sewer in Midkiff to pit road here. The best thing that can happen to Peyton Johnson right now is all of these cars get to pit road, and here they come right now. Miles, Dalton, Bryson, Strayer, all these cars come to pit road. They cycle back around and then get a yellow. That would be the best case scenario right now for Peyton Johnson and those guys. Otherwise, it ain't looking good. I'm just going to be real. Dalton overshooting a stall a little bit there. 4 tires and fuel for all of them. Fontaine stayed out, leads himself a lap, so did Peachin, as here go the leaders out. Everybody good. Dalton hurt himself a little bit, sliding into stall, going to lose 2 spots. So Sean Peachin and Dean coming to pit road now. Oh, Peachin! Overshoots its pit stall and hits the inside wall. Dean gets a good launch out of his stall. And in the back there, you see Fontaine coming to pit road, lap 63. That'll cycle everything back around. Peyton Johnson will lead in this race, but he'll have to come back to pit road in about 15 laps or so as Fontaine locks it in. So Fontaine going to take off. As Miles and Bryson have already gone back past the 15 car for the lead. So just like that, that advantage that Johnson had on the newer tires now going backwards. Oh, caution is out. Ethan Gregory has spun and has jumped to the pits. The 25 bringing out a caution for the second time. And that right there is exactly what Peyton Johnson needed. Let's see what happened to the 25 as he towed back pretty quickly. Didn't even get a chance to go to him. Oh, he gets loose off turn 2, pancakes the outside wall. And, well, took one for the team, if you will. What shocks me is, again, that brought out the caution. And if you look at the replay here, let's show it again. There's nobody within a mile of this car once he spins. There's what, 40 feet, 50 feet up to the track? And that triggered the caution. That's where I go back to, and I bring this up in different broadcasts, how some tracks are very conservative with their cautions, some are not. So we got cars on pit road. Johnson in, of course, taking advantage of that. Peachin, Thornton, Carter, Simonson, and Ramsey, all those cars coming to pit road now. So it definitely worked out for those guys in that situation. So caution out here. Let's take a look at the schedule. Of course, Michigan tonight. There is an all-star race next week for the series. Don't think, has anything been announced on that? I haven't seen anything in chat, but I've been pretty busy, of course, with Peak now at work. And then from there, we're off for the next couple weeks. So the next actual season race will be the 3rd of January from Texas Motor Speedway. The playoffs kicking off there at Texas. Of course, Dover, Gateway, Homestead. The 4 tracks that'll host the playoffs starting in January. And of course, with this being a 2-mile track, we're going to go green really quickly here. Appreciate the viewers watching here tonight. If you're new to the chat, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you coming back and joining us. Again, make sure you go hit up the YouTube or the Facebook page and the Twitter page, even TikTok on there now. A lot of things going to be active over on those pages here in the near future. Of course, now, as of yesterday, becoming a premier partner for YouTube. Which is cool. And that's a big shout out to the viewers for subscribing to the channel, for allowing me to get to that opportunity. So very thankful for that. It's cool when you get to stream some of the best racing you'll find on iRacing on the league side of things each and every week. And I didn't even got a chance to talk about the new series coming on Thursdays that you're going to see on the Captain Esports Network. So you're going to see 2, 3, 4, 5 leagues in 2024 at least, and some fill-ins, you never know. All right, pace car pulls in. Miles, Bryson, Strayer, Dalton, and Tyler Pluff, your top 5. 32 laps to go. Ortman, pretty good run there, top side. Good opportunity. We'll turn it up here real quickly. Lucas Strayer led for a lap there. And then Alex Bryson is now gone to the front. And he's bringing Lucas Gortman with him. New names showing up here at the front. The caution that Peyton Johnson needed. There he is back in the 7th position. Got the freshest tires out of the bunch, but he's got to be careful not to wear them out. Racing picking up now. You see the different lines. Bryson, Peyton, the white line. Gortman all the way up at the top. I guess it's the yellow line. Stray going back to the front. The Luke and Luke show. Kind of see how much in this view the cars move around. Get you kind of far view here. You can see how all the lanes kind of operate here. See whose cars are kind of loose, whose cars are pushing. You see Gortman trying to get around Strayer. Strayer blocking a little bit, a little defensive moving. I think you can tell when there's a playoff position on the line there with Strayer making those kind of moves. Strayer has about as much confidence as a frog against an alligator. As Gortman takes the lead up front there, you see him now, he's going defensive. Gotta be careful. There's a bump down there that these cars don't like. Matter of fact, I've actually gotten a 0x from that bump before. See Peachins worked his way up there to 7th. Kind of a cool view because you can look out front and kind of call the race from behind another car. Johnson, you see up to 2nd out with those fresher tires. That caution, I mean, I wasn't a fan of the strategy, but the caution fell exactly where it did, what they needed. And those guys now, at least Peyton, being able to use those tires and work his way inside of Lucas for the lead. Oh, Fontaine getting free there. Did he and Peach make contact? And there goes Peyton to the front. Good battles all the way around here. 24 to go. And this track very notorious for first-time winners. Real life on iRacing. Real life, you go back to 1991. Dale Jarrett in the Wood Brothers car outrunning Davey Allison to the line. 2001, Sterling Marlin winning the first race for Dodge. Brian Vickers got himself a win here in the Red Bull car. And of course, I'm trying to remember. Ooh, up in the wall there. That was that Joey maybe? I have the name of the driver in my head. I just can't remember it totally. But they were season 1 here at Michigan. It's one of the big, I've said it for years. It was one of the biggest upsets in this series history. And I cannot remember the guy's name. I'm going to have to go look it up. A little bit of blinking issues. The good news is they send me all the files. Another car up in the wall back there. That was Simonson. And I think that's Friesian. Is that what that sponsor is? Oh, trouble up ahead. That is Devin Ramsey in a 9 car, the PRG. Ford has gone around back straightaway. See what I get for trying to find records and stuff? All of a sudden they wreck next to me. And Devin Ramsey, 3rd caution. And tires? Sir, yes, sir. Looks like contact between he and Ladisseur potentially. Joey getting a little free and a little door bang there. And they just get hooked together there. No caution comes out. Oh, here comes everybody to pit road. Should be fuel, 4 tires and fuel for everyone here. Race off pit road. That Strayer, I think Strayer got Johnson there. It's real close. Ah, they gave it to Peyton. No, they didn't. They gave it to Strayer. What a launch by the 41 out of that pit stall. Let's watch it. Watch this. I mean, the launch by the 40. Yeah, he got him. All right, so we're coming to 1 to green. Let's throw up the point standings again here. Unfortunately, I don't have the technology to be able to do like the racing as they go, so most of the time in these kind of races have to use my own math here. So with Strayer leading, of course, he would move up to the 10th car in, which then officially puts Pluff back on the bubble. So, and as you see, Pluff right now running in the 7th position. Dalton running in 4th. Signs running in 8th. So if this race were to end right now, it'd likely be Dalton out by about 2 points. As you can cross off the 16th place car. And Sean Peachin obviously needs to win to get in. And then Strayer leading this race right now. So that's what I was talking about. A lot of things can happen. Gortman is in. Bryson is in. Johnson's on the edge of being in. Signs is pretty good as long as he doesn't wreck. And then that would put the battle between Dalton and Pluff. Now, if Strayer does not win, then the battle's between Dalton and Strayer. Hope that made sense. There'll be a test at the end. "16 laps to go. Strayer going to bring him to the green." As I said earlier, Strayer with not a lot of confidence in himself, which is never a good thing. And the only reason I know that's because I'm listening to him in chat. Dalton trying to get to the outside there. That's 62. You see Peach in there also. Fontaine, a little bit of a defensive move back there on signs. You see Miles. Still got 15 laps, 30 miles, which is still plenty of time to kind of preserve your tires a little bit and make a run at the end with the way this draft works. Ooh, Peachin loose into Fontaine. Oh, and around goes Peachin. Fontaine clipped him and the caution's out. Wonder how much damage the 77 got on the nose. Sean gets loose up top there. He and Sam make contact. Oh, and then he comes across the nose of Pluff. Sean does a great job locking that thing down. There's the original contact. Good save. Right in your living room. See if I'm going to slow it down as we... There's the contact there. You see, well, that's Peach, and I want that one. Here we go. Maybe to the rear. Otherwise, not much contact there. Get you one more view here. I think that'll work. Ooh, you can't get any closer than that. So I'm hearing some interesting things right now in chat, and this is some. Again, I try to read the rule book before I broadcast league races and stuff, but there's a lot of things to remember when you're broadcasting different leagues. So what has slipped my mind, and I'm going to bring back the point standings again, is Brian Sutphin, of course, last week said he was not racing for points. He's out. He voluntarily gave up his spot. So, let me get rid of everything on the screen here, so I'm trying to do here. Multitasking at its failure. So Sutphin is out, which is the 7th driver. So there's 6 spots. And then Maciejewski's out, so now there's 5 spots. So that means 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So let's slide everybody up, basically. So Gortman is now 6th, Alex Bryson 7, Peyton Johnson 8, Diego Sainz 9, Pluff is 10, Dalton's 11, Strayer is 12. So now the battle actually is between Strayer and Peachin for the bubble. Now, I'm listening to chat here right now. They're talking about it in the race. And basically Fontaine's explaining. So it comes down to, here's what it comes down to. You cannot miss more than 3 races. So Brandon Maciejewski obviously missed more than 3 races, so he's out. Brian Sutphin, how is his situation? I mean, he can give up the spot, but did he not miss more than 3 races? If so, he might get a spot automatically just by default. You know what the simplest situation here would be? Just go win the daggum race. That'll fix everything here. Jason Clark could even make the playoffs right now. Get in there and race. So we go back green. This is Abbott and Costello type stuff right here. So we go racing. Just win the daggum race and you're in the playoffs right now. Where's Daniels at? We got some 11 minus 12 stuff here. Johnson with a big move to the bottom. Peyton trying to be the newest winner in GLSR. Is it though? I think Luke's running in another series right now, so I can't go bother him. I had said for a while that Peyton Johnson won at Daytona, but I actually got him mixed up with Jacob Black. So I do not think Johnson has won a race before as Strayer crosses him over for the lead. Gortman back there looking for his first win. Dalton looking for a playoff clinching win as Strayer about tags Johnson. Gortman pushing up into Dalton. Tyler Pluff joining the battle. That's 3 cars. Matter of fact, the top 5 consist of drivers who have not won a race this season. The top 6 now have not won a race this season. And then comes Miles. Seven laps to go. Oh, leaning on each other. Oh, Miles is all kinds of loose. Track's 50 feet wide, and yet they're taking up 15 feet together. Peyton's pulled away to a 2/10 of a second lead. 6 laps, make that 7 to go in the prehistoric Forest 200. Strayer with a good lap that time by. Here comes Dalton with him. Dalton said he struggled here. But that car has come alive. As you saw earlier, he was able to pull away pretty good in the short run. And oh, by the way, I went back and reviewed that race. I found that upset. Anthony Marshall was the driver. I knew it was Anthony something. Anthony Marshall, the first race here at Michigan, was race number 3 in the season. Outran Dylan Glass and William Calhoun to the win. It's Anthony's only win in series history and arguably one of the biggest upsets in series history as he straight up passed Calhoun for the win in that race. And I believe he had a passing in his family at that race or something like before that. Look at these cars, 3, 4 wide, spreading on Miles and Fontaine. 4 to go. How bad do you want it? Oh, Strayer. Got a good run. Oh, don't let him get to the right rear. He's there. He's there. Oh, he got tight, though. Miles about wrecked off turn 2. Four miles. Top 6 drivers have not won a race this season. Dalton got a little tight off 2 there. Peyton Johnson running for his life. White flag is out. Somebody just hurt their shoulder, apparently. Final lap in the prehistoric Forest 200. Peyton Johnson through 3 and 4. Gonna lock himself into the playoffs with a win in Michigan for his first time in GLSR. Peyton Johnson is a winner. Lucas Strayer, Jason Dalton second and third. the good news for those drivers that were on the bubble is that Johnson was pretty much above the line, so nobody got moved around. So literally going to come down to, I believe, Peachin versus Strayer. And with Strayer finishing second, likely will take the final spot in. We'll do the math here in a second, but we're going to let Peyton celebrate a win in what could be, I think you could argue, one of the biggest races in this series. Loredas on his car. Of course, that's his company. I'm pretty sure chat will be very interesting. And maybe for adult people only. So you gonna try a backwards burnout here? I don't think the rear gear is good enough to... I don't know if... I don't know if reverse has a high enough gear to do this. He's trying it. Yeah, he back up. There goes the fender. Yep, that fail fish big time. All right, let's take a look at the finishing results as Johnson locks himself in. Strayer second, Dalton third, Pluff, Bryson, Gortman. Look at that. Top 8 cars have not won a race this season. Talk about trying to get it, right? Fontaine finishes 9th. Christopher Dean ends up 10th. Jacob Thornton bounces back for 11th. Miles, I think he was just trying to survive, finishes 12th. Midkiff 13th. Dalton Carter 14th. Lucas Simonson 15th. Tyler Brewer and Joey Ladasor 16th and 17th. And Devin Ramsey finishing in the 18th position. Cam Ingram, Ethan Gregory, Jason Stewart, and Shane Matthews, I think, is trapped in the waterfall of the prehistoric forest right now, finishing 22nd. So again, this was before the race. As we show it again. So again, let's subtract Brandon and Brian. Gortman's in on points. Bryson's in on points. Johnson, of course, jumps up now to the 6th seed with the win. So let's move him up there. And then Diego Sainz is in. Diego finished in the 8th position, so he's good to go. Tyler Pluff is in. Jason Dalton is in. And it came down to Strayer versus Peachin. And Strayer outran Peachin, finishing 2nd and 7th, respectively. So if this is all accurate, then Lucas Strayer will be the 12th and final driver to get in to the playoffs on points. Unfortunately, Sean Peachin, Josh Gagnon, and others not going to race for a championship this season. So we'll talk to these drivers here and try to squeeze in a couple extra interviews with some of the drivers that have made the playoffs. As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab the 2nd place finisher first because I'm going to go ahead and break the news here to him. You'd think I'd pull him up here second. Or first to do the interview, but I'm doing this for a reason, to tell Lucas Strayer. Lucas, according to my math, you're in the playoffs.
I don't think I am, man. Dalton got a lot of points extra. Pluff, I think, did enough to make it too. So I don't think I made it.
You know it's you versus Peachin, right?
I don't think it is.
Subtract Sutphin. Subtract Brandon.
Well, we don't know if Suffin subtracted. I asked that in the race,
Well,
and they.
If so, yeah, I guess that's a good point. So right now, you're pretty much the difference between somebody giving up his spot and not, basically, and making the playoffs here. But still, 2nd place finish for somebody who has as much confidence as a worm taking on a lion. You finished 2nd.
I wanted that so bad. I've never raced so hard. Those last like 20 laps, I wanted it so bad. I knew when Peyton passed me, I was like, I can get him back. I'm just saving. And then I have this move in one where I get right on their door on the outside. I just full send it, and I just rip the top and get to the outside. But unfortunately, Peyton knew that, so he did his arc where he was going to hit the wall, like, or go right against the wall. So it was either I end up just crashing myself trying to do it, or that was it. And when that happened, it was just over. So, oh, I wanted that so bad. I've never tried so hard for a race, but that's why I'm now waiting. I didn't win, so we gotta wait for the points total. But yeah, not my usual interview because I wanted that really badly.
We'll talk a little bit about obviously the racing out there because I mean some strategy came into play, some cautions came into play, and obviously you put yourself in the right position.
Yeah. So that caution on lap, like I think it was 65 or something, that really shook up the field because we kind of knew it was going to be about 30 laps to go. So it was kind of a like, okay, you got to save some tires. Like, how do you do it? So my strategy there was just get out front and then do kind of what Dalton was doing all race, where like you kind of just control the race. And then when the tires wore out, I was hoping it was going to be more difficult for people to pass me. So I was just going to start running the high line and make it harder for them to pass me, which that was my strategy. I know people like Tyler Pluff and Miles and Bryson, like they drop back to save tires, which I was saying to Pluff the whole time. I was like, Miles is going to win this race. Like Miles is running some 4D chess right now. He's going to win this race. And when that caution came out 20 to go, that just threw everything out the window because you could get fresh tires and it was all to play for, which, yeah, I knew. I didn't know where Dalton was. I knew he was fast early, but it seemed like he was kind of waiting. So when I realized it was between me and Peyton, I choked again, man. This is my third race this year to choke, and this ain't fun.
Well, I wouldn't call it necessarily a choke. I think there's might be beating yourself up there a little bit, but a little bit too much. But needless to say, a good top 5 finish for you, and second place finish. Obviously, we'll rate on the technicality of results here and see what is called by the admins to see if you are officially in or not, and go from there. But congratulations and send shout outs to whoever you like to.
Just grit for always being on my car. Spoiler diecast, I emailed them asking if they would be in my car. They said yes, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I just want to thank Brewer for giving me the shot this season. I really wanted to make this car fly. I had some bad races, and I couldn't win. So we'll see where we are next week and see if I can win, but I get to play the waiting game. I feel like one of those like races where like there's a technicality at the end, so everyone's just kind of standing around being like, so who won? It's kind of like one of those things where they call the caution. It was like side by side, kind of like Junior and Logano, where everyone's just sitting around like, who won? Who won? Who's the winner? So.
Well, the good news is you get to sit there and wait for like a couple weeks because you get the All-Star race next week, and then you got 2024 in 2 weeks. So 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited for the All-Star race. I helped Brewer come up with some ideas for it, so I think it's going to look like a real good show. Make sure you catch it on Captain Esports Network, one of the greatest YouTubers, Twitch streamers, whatever you stream on. I know it's YouTube mainly, but Captain Esports Network, the greatest place to watch your racing. Hopefully, we put on a great show because we know the captain here does an amazing job broadcasting.
So Mercedes F1 cars at Centripetal Circuit. Is that what we're doing?
You can't race Centripetal. I tried that one time. I actually tried to set up a hosted race there one time. You can't race there. It's kind of disappointing.
That you tried that's just like, wow. Anyways, all right. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Lucas Strayer finishing in the second position as he moves himself down there to the Brewer Motorsports channel. Let's talk to our other drivers here to finish top 3 tonight. Jason Dalton finishing third. You obviously did exactly what you needed to do. I know there was a lot of moving parts and pieces going on because of people missing races and things like that. But good news is safely you're in the playoffs, but not probably the finish you wanted.
No, it wasn't. That's I felt like you said, I did what I needed to do. I figured out the tires there a little bit better, but it is just, it's such a wide track, but man, it's just so hard to pass.
How much is that like the fixed setup? Obviously, everybody's even. You got all the different grooves, top line obviously being pretty dominant there. How much did that just make it even tougher for you to make the passes on the bottom?
Yeah, well, you really couldn't get a pass on the bottom unless somebody slid their tires a little bit or did something. You pretty much had to get on the outside of them, and there toward the end, everybody was running that top groove unless you drove it in really hard. And then if you did that, you had to slow down too much and couldn't stay beside of them or on the quarter panel to make the pass. So it was pretty tough, and the cars were sliding a little bit, trying to get off corner exit to get your speed on the straightaways. But I mean, it was fun. I had a lot of fun tonight. I felt good about it. I don't know. I barely sneaked in, but I'll take it.
So, how tough was it for you being out front? Feeling like it almost looked like you had such a good short run car that maybe it hurt you in the long run tire wise.
Yeah, a little bit, but I didn't feel like, and obviously I was, but I didn't feel like I was running wide open at the beginning of the race. And I noticed I was pulling away, so I kept trying to slow down a little bit, but still keep my speed. And I think it actually messed me up more than helped as far as what I was used to running and trying to find the right line to save tires. So, but again, I figured it out. The biggest thing that hurt me was I slid through my pit box there and cost me about a second. Lost 2 spots and had to try to fight to get those back. Just like trying to make the pass on Strayer there in the last 2 or 3 laps. I was able to get under him and get by him a little bit, but I didn't have the corner exit speed to complete the pass. So, but anyways, it's a top 3, and I get to talk to you again, and we hadn't talked on here in a long time.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, still, man, great job tonight. Send some shout outs to whoever you'd like to.
Yeah, just all the friends and family watching tonight. All the guys there with KJD2 that kept giving me encouragement through the race and stuff to finish. And again, it ain't the finish I wanted. I'll take a top 12 any way I can get it. Now we'll reset and make a run at the playoffs.
Well, congratulations, man. And we'll talk here soon.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, you too, buddy. As Dalton finishes in the 3rd position here tonight, works his way into the playoffs. And congratulations to him on that. And we're going to go get our newest first-time winner in the series here, as Peyton has come so close multiple times this season. And I'm going to be just straight honest. I scratched my head earlier when you guys came to pit road. And that caution comes out there at lap 60 and pretty much put this race back in your hands to where you were able to work your way up through the field. Was there any nerves there at the beginning when you made that move? And then obviously to get everything to work back out and to get yourself in to the playoffs here has to feel pretty good.
Oh, it feels great, man, especially a pressure-packed race, knowing that I have to at least finish good to keep my spot in the points. But when, that first caution comes out, and I didn't expect everybody to take tires at lap 20, given that we only had 3 additional sets. So I came out, and I was definitely shocked and knew I was in for a long night. But the last thing I wanted to see was that last caution because I had 10-lap fresher tires and buzzed through everybody, and I don't think anybody would have caught me on that one.
No, absolutely. And it worked out because you get the caution, you're able to come out and get tires, and you come right up through the field. I mean, it took you about 5 to 10 laps or so to get to the lead. Then you get some cautions, and then it comes down to the end, a battle between you and Strayer. Obviously, Strayer was there. You guys fought hard. What was the difference there? Was it the clean air?
Yeah, so I got to his outside early in turns 1 and 2, and the grip had actually opened up on the track where you could arc the entry a little bit higher, stay in the throttle, and get a big drive off. He took a little bit shallower of an entry, and I got to his corner and just ripped down through the center and came up off with the lead. He got back to me a couple of laps, and I could see it, and I aero blocked him a little bit before he could get to my outside coming off of 2, and that was really the difference. Once he had to lift there because he was going to hit the fence, I had a big enough gap where the last few laps I was just cruising.
Yeah, it worked out for you in the end, man. Congratulations, and got to feel pretty good to get this one off you finally.
Yeah, it's been a big monkey for sure. I thought I had the New Hampshire race earlier this year. A couple other races I've been in position to. Really hated that I was in a bad strategy spot here, but got lucky and it worked out. I love Michigan. It's one of my favorite tracks to drive. You got to step on an egg with the throttle to save the tires. So a lot of fun.
I don't like the idea of stepping on an egg.
Hey, listen, I can't thank you guys enough for the league and your broadcast and everything. It's a lot of fun racing with these guys. Super good racers that race hard and clean next to each other, and so a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job. Send some shout outs.
Shout out to you, to the admins for everything they do, all the sponsors of the league, Downrange Transport. I got to thank my law firm, Celeratus Legal, for putting the logo on the car and giving me a place to work. Always helps to have that, and look forward to the playoffs and can't wait to see how that goes the rest of the season.
There you go. You get to start fresh again. Nice job, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy. I can't wait to watch the broadcast.
Yes, sir. Newest first-time winner is Peyton Johnson, the law firm. He'll be celebrating with free cans of soda for anybody that comes in to talk to him. That's because that's what every law firm has in a refrigerator at the front door. Ask me if I'm lying.
You haven't seen the refrigerator upstairs, though.
That's facts. Good job, bud. So that's Peyton Johnson going to victory lane. I'm just going to put him there. He can move himself. Congrats to him on his win. Of course, a lot of drivers talking. And I don't know. I know Pluff, obviously, he made the playoffs, so he's good to go. It's just, it's going to come down to Ryan Sutphin versus Lucas Strayer. Now, Sutphin is well documented that he's not racing for a playoff spot. He's not going to run the playoffs. So it comes down to, and this is always tough. This is one of the things on iRacing that makes doing a playoff system tough. Is you get drivers that, with real life and that kind of thing, maybe can't make all the races or whatever. And you get a lot of leagues out there that, don't really have any kind of rule of, if this person can't race, then so-and-so gets in. I've had this happen to me before. And this situation, I've always been a firm believer of whatever the rule book says. Now, in this case, there might not be a rule in there. So, I think if this is a situation where Sutphin is in, I think, unfortunately, you're at a spot where if Sutphin chooses not to race, then you're probably only got 11 guys going for a championship here. I hate to say that, and it stinks, but you're looking at a potential Jeff Gordon 2013 all over again, where now, again, apples to oranges there before we go any further, where you put a guy in because of the whole Clint Boyer spin thing. Nothing like that happened here, but it's by the rules 12 drivers. I mean, we go back to this whole college football playoff stupidity deal that's going on. Kind of, sort of, again, apples to oranges, but a similar deal. You got 12 spots. The 12 spots are occupied by the drivers. Do you put the guy that finishes 13th in all of a sudden? Kind of can't. You know what I mean? So, it's going to be a tough decision here, and I respect what they decide, whatever it is, and we'll go from there. Next week, or actually in 3 weeks, we'll be at Texas, the start of the playoffs, but next week, the All-Star race, I have no clue what it is, where it's at, who's doing what, don't know. We'll see. But that will be going on, and I'll talk to Sean, see if we're going to stream it or not. I know Lucas kind of mentioned it, but I know nothing. And then, of course, with the Christmas holidays off, get ready for 2024 and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off and go eat some dinner and get ready for bed and let these guys figure it out. Follow the social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, and I'll try to get some updates in there And of course, you got the GLSR Facebook page you can get up there. We'll try to update what the playoff situation is as we go here. So appreciate everybody watching here this evening. Big shout out to, of course, our cameras from TrackCams22.com, TrackCams4 Gourmet. Appreciate those guys. Appreciate all the viewers watching here tonight. As always, the Prehistoric Forest 200 puts on a show, and Peyton Johnson becomes another first-time winner here at the Michigan Speedway. As we head out, always remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!